and once again we cry.
14 startling facts you probably never knew about country legend Patsy Cline. She's been lauded as one of the most influential and important women in the history of country music. And while Patsy Cline's life was cut woefully short, it's hard to deny that she made an incredible impact during her career. Yet, from her troublesome childhood to how she felt about her musical calling, there's plenty you don't know about this legendary artist.
Crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy.
Number 14. She had an affair with Bill Peer. Gerald Cline may have been the stable option for Patsy, but something was seemingly missing from her life. While living with her new husband, then, she embarked on an extramarital affair with her musical partner, Peer. This period proved a particularly tumultuous time for Patsy, who was struggling to juggle the demands of her home life and her burgeoning career. Number 13. Her parents had a huge age gap. Cline wasn't born with her now famous moniker. In fact, her parents originally named her Virginia Patterson Henley, and her family and friends simply called her Ginny. But perhaps more startling is that her mom, a seamstress, was just 16 years old at the time of her birth. Her father, meanwhile, was a 43-year-old blacksmith. Number 12. Her childhood heroine was Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple was one of Hollywood's greatest child stars, earning her first movie contract at just 3 years old. By 6, she'd won her first Academy Award, an honorary gesture, given her tender age. But she became a millionaire before hitting puberty. What's more, she was just 4 years older than Cline. It's perhaps no wonder then that the singer idolized Temple from an early age. Number 11. She won a tap dancing contest at 4 years old. Like Temple, Cline experienced her first brush with show business at a very young age. Indeed, at the behest of her mother, she entered a tap dancing contest when she was just 4. And her idolization of the already renowned Temple gave Cline the impetus she needed to not only take part, but win the competition. Number 10. She started singing at a young age. Following her success on the stage, Cline quickly discovered a love for singing. And once again, it was her mother who would prove to be the catalyst. That's because the youngster would regularly accompany her mom to church, where the pair would sing together. But Cline never had professional lessons. In fact, her vocal talents were entirely self-taught. Number 9. She learned to play piano by ear. Yes, the precocious minor boasted flexible fingers, which she danced along piano keys at just 8 years old. According to the Patsy Cline story, published online in 2001, one music teacher even advised against formal training for the young girl, given it might stifle her natural talent. Number 8. She was hospitalized at 13 years old. As a teenager, Cline suffered a horrific throat infection brought on by rheumatic fever. Remarkably, she later credited her singing voice to the ordeal. In 1957, she recalled, "I developed a terrible throat infection and my heart even stopped beating. You might say it was my return to the living after several days that launched me as a singer. The fever affected my throat, and when I recovered, I had this booming voice like Kate Smith." Number 7. Her father left when she was 15. Cline's parents tied the knot when her mother was just 15 years old, but her father was 27 years her senior and already had children from a previous marriage. In marrying Hilda Patterson, then, he chose to abandon his current family. And he would follow that precedent 3 decades later, leaving behind Cline and her family when the singer reached the age of 15. Number 6. She worked odd jobs to support her family. With her father no longer in the picture, Cline had to pitch in to make ends meet. As a result, she dropped out of school shortly after turning 16 and began working in a poultry plant. More odd jobs quickly followed, including at a drugstore and a bus depot. Also, it was around this time that she began singing professionally, hoping to bolster her income with evening and weekend gigs. Number 5. Her first boyfriend was apparently a married man. Cline's dismal luck in relationships seemingly started with her very first romantic entanglement. Indeed, as a young woman, she found herself falling for a charismatic pianist who was not only 10 years her senior, but also happened to be married. And while this mystery man reportedly enjoyed Cline's company, he never admitted to his dalliance with the future superstar. Number 4. She got her first break on a hillbilly radio station. Cline's gigs at clubs and bars eventually landed her an audition at WINC, a radio station in her hometown of Winchester, Virginia. At the time, it was regarded as a hillbilly outlet, but it gave the budding singer a foot in the door. And by the end of the 1940s, Ginny Hensley had cemented herself as a regular performer for the station. Number 3. She was initially turned down for the Grand Ole Opry. Cline had long dreamed of performing at the Grand Ole Opry, a live country music show in Nashville, Tennessee. With her radio performances at her heel then, she decided to audition for the concert in 1948. However, she was only 16 years old at the time and was consequently turned down for being too young and unpolished. Number 2. She changed her name in 1952. Until the early 1950s, Cline had been performing by her birth name, Ginny Hensley. But in 1952, she decided to adapt her middle name, Patterson, into her now famous forename, Patsy. The idea had come from Bill Pierre, the frontman of a swing band Cline partnered with for a number of performances for local radio station WEPM. For now, though, she held on to her maiden name. Number 1. She married her first husband in 1953. The singer spent roughly a year as Patsy Hensley before marrying her first husband, Gerald Cline, in 1953. The match surprised her friends, who always knew Patsy as somewhat attracted to drama. Gerald, on the other hand, was a straight-laced construction mogul whom Patsy herself described as dull. However, by the time she filled her friends in on the union, she'd already tied the knot. The world is filled with stories going viral every single day. But how many of these sites can you actually follow? We understand that your day should start with positive stories, stories that resonate with you. And so we started JoJo Stories. Our mission is to create meaningful stories that cover everything from animals to anthropology, history to environment and lifestyle. The kind of content you read on our site will be one you'll want to share with your family and friends. We hope you'll join our growing family and be part of our community. Welcome to JoJo Stories. JoJoStories.com.